Hello everyone, Taylor here, and welcome back to our Captain of Industry playthrough on Dragontail Island, playing on Sailor difficulty. I believe, right? Am I getting that right? So here's our difficulty, but I'm pretty sure we selected Sailor at the beginning. Not Sailor, sorry, Captain. Captain. Sailor is the lower one, Captain's the middle one, and then Admiral is the highest. So we selected Captain. All right, and a little overview here. We've got pretty much the general basics set up. We're working towards some of the things over here, but we've got general stuff going. We just set up our iron mine last episode, so we've got that running through now. We do have our blast furnace working through, and actually to complete this quicker, I am going to reorder these. Don't let me forget to change these because I do want this gone sooner rather than later. So I need to reorder those. All right, so we're going to unpause here. Let things run through. This is going to be important because eventually we're still pretty good with diesel. We will eventually run out though, so I want to get this up and working. Where is our oil on this map? Oh, right here. All right, so let's look at our ratios here. So this needs 60, and that's a big thing. Always look at your ratios, and always tend to start small in this game. Like you're very tempted when you start building assemblers to build a whole bunch of them because you're like, oh, I want a lot of construction parts, for example, because I want to build a lot. But starting off when you don't have a lot of workers, each one of these takes 4 workers. You're going to run out of workers really quick if you do that. In addition to that, you've got to balance all of your outputs from your buildings with your inputs. So take, for example, this takes 4.5, this takes 7.5. So down here in the find bar, they took a really good note from Satisfactory down here. This actually works as a calculator too. So you can do 4.5, 7.5 plus 7.5. So that's 12. So we need to be producing 12 iron to feed both of these continuously. They're not running continuously because once the storage fills up, they stop working. But we need to be producing at least 12. Well, the good news is one of these metal casters produces 12, using the 24 molten iron split between the two for each. So we're producing 24 iron, which is double what we need for these two. For the wood, it's kind of hard to tell what your throughput is without looking up here. And speaking of which, I want to put down a unit storage attached to this to keep our tree harvester running. I know generally speaking, one excavator can produce about 60, I want to say, per minute. And I say about because there's some inefficiencies with how long, the scoop travels, how long it takes the trucks to, how often it moves. There's a lot of variables there, but it produces about 30 per minute. So one excavator excavating iron ore is enough to feed this recipe, generally speaking. You will have to keep an eye on that to see if it's able to keep up. You can see here that it does tell you what was produced last month, generally speaking. So you can kind of use that to help out as well. Alrighty. So, but yeah, making sure you're balancing inputs. Your inputs and your outputs is really important. So back over here, so you can see here we need 60 crude oil per minute. Each oil pump only produces 20, so we need 3 oil pumps. So 2, 4, 6, and it only tells you to do 2. But if you want to run this continuously, you need 3. So just keep that in mind. All right, we're gonna put this over here, and then we're gonna run pipes all the way over. That'll feed into that. We need a smokestack here on the back end to take care of the exhaust. Okay. I should have put this on the other side, but they already built it pretty quick, so I'll just deal with it for now. All right, so I'm going to press E here. You can see in the tooltip, ground level is at 0, and each time I press E, it goes up. So before we get bridges for the trucks to go over these pipes, if you just set the pipes across like this, the trucks will not be able to pass through this area if you just set them on the ground. So what I typically do, just starting off, is just raise it up. Each vehicle has a height limit. If I can remember where to see that. It might be at the vehicle depot. One sec. Yep, there it is. So you can see here that trucks can go under, or pickups can go under anything that's 2 or higher. The excavator and the tree harvester is actually 4 or higher. So just keep that in mind when you're building your pipes and such. So with that being said, 2 will work. I'll just go up to 3. Why are you over here? Oh, because he's refueling off the diesel. Come on, I want you to go right there. Yep. Alright, so we're just gonna pipe this all the way this way, straight to the water, so we can just dump all of the yucky wastewater into the ocean, because we don't have any other choice. Which is unfortunate because it does affect your population health, which we might be able to see now. Yep, if we go to population overview here, you can see health. Our health is affecting our growth positively. We have a base health of +10, but the pollution that our trucks are putting off and the air pollution that we're pumping into the air with the diesel generator here, and everything else that's producing exhaust, right? So we're dumping a lot of stuff into the atmosphere here, into the air that our people are breathing. That's affecting our health negatively. So both of those. Once we start dumping the wastewater over here, we'll be producing water pollution, which will even further affect our population's health. I think it takes a month to populate. Yep, there it is. So see, starting to come up. So our unity, food is affecting our unity. The fact that they have food and the more varied food that they have is one way to increase unity. Their general total health, which is, this minus this, is affecting the unity positively. Running the beacon is lowering it by 1. All right, it wants me to pause the beacon here, which is fine because we've got plenty of workers, so we don't want to overload our farm, which is producing about 9 potatoes every minute, and our population is consuming about 8 per minute. So with that being said, I'm actually going to build another farm here, just so we have about 18 coming in, just to give us a little bit of buffer room so our people don't starve. Alright, are we good with this? We need to put down fluid storage. So that way this can keep running. And that will be our initial diesel production. Completed. Complete that. We are processing the iron ore now, and before I forget, let me reorder these. So that way we can get rid of this communication station sooner rather than later. Oh, shoot. I forgot to do this. I forgot to do this in my last playthrough too. Or my last save as well. Put down a mine control station here and just say the only thing that's allowed to be dumped here is waste. That covers everything. Cause see, they're dumping rock and slag and everything else here in this pile, and we don't necessarily want that here. That's actually better served to, and I'll go ahead and set it here, that's actually better served as landfill to kind of straighten out the island a little bit. So I'll go ahead and dump all that, edit this area just to include the land, or the waste zone there. All right, and if you click on your trucks or your vehicles up here, you can tell it, hey, only dump these materials in the general dumping sites. So we don't want waste dumped in the ocean, for example. So this is a general dumping site because it's not being controlled by a mine control tower. So they'll dump everything that's in their menu here in this section. The only thing that they'll dump here is what the mine control tower specifies could be dumped here. Alrighty. We'll unpause. What could not store all potatoes after harvest. So what we'll do kind of in the meantime, just to give us a little bit of buffer with the potatoes, we'll put some loose storage attached to these. And actually, I will also do another food mart there. Give us additional buffer room. More refugees. Did I pause the beacon? Yes, I did. Okay. It wants me to build another assembler for construction parts, and this is kind of why I left a gap here as well. So that way we can just copy. So even if it doesn't show up down here on the toolbar, you can just hover over a building and press the C key to copy that building. If you have a building that hasn't been constructed yet, you can use the cut, which is the X key, to pick that up and move it before it gets constructed. You can use the V key to apply settings from another building to other buildings. When you copy a building that has a recipe in it, it'll automatically copy the recipe over as well. So you'll notice here we don't need to select it. Actually, to show that a little bit better, oh, he started building that before I did that. That's alright though. So just straight copy it over. The recipe's already there. Alright, so that's done. Okay, it wants me to research basic concrete next. Then we'll go ahead and do the ship dock repair, as well as the copper refinement, because I know we'll need those. Oh, it wants me to disable. Well, let's fix this first. That's going to be potatoes. It wants me to disable import, which I was a little late on this because the reason why it wanted me to do that is because the trucks just started emptying out the shipyard into that storage, because there wasn't anywhere else to store it. But it's fine. It'll all get used up eventually anyways. So we'll collect those rewards. Researching the basic concrete. It wants me to build 2 more assemblers. Oh, that was just saying that they were about the potatoes were about to dry out because there hadn't been any rain, and then it starts raining, so perfect. Alright, so build 2 more assemblers. I'll just put 1 there and 1 there. This one is going to have vehicle parts. And this one is going to have electronics, which are vitally important because we need that for our maintenance, which we've got a decent amount of them, so we're not too bad, but we do need to get that working. Storage there. Put 1 here and here, and then make sure I change these to be. That was vehicle parts. 2 vehicle parts and electronics respectively. Alrighty, so now it wants me to build a limestone mine. That's being made. That's being made. Research ship dock repair. Already working on that. So now we can work on our limestone mine over here. Which limestone is going to be important for making the concrete slabs here, because this is the only source that we have right now, and that's going to run out eventually. So we need to start mining limestone as well. Yep, looks good. And then we'll just put our sorting plant right there. Set its products to limestone, dirt. Ooh, that was weird. It's kind of glitchy there. Limestone, dirt, and rock. Good there. Oh, we also need to... Didn't tell us to do this, but we also need another excavator and 2 trucks. Alright. You'll see when you place down a new one, this just takes the global dumping settings and applies it to the mine control tower. So you notice that waste doesn't show up here, for example. Alright, we'll collect the reward for vehicle parts. And we'll just hang out and wait for them to complete all of these. Oh, that's why we're running low on construction parts. So we're waiting for them to build some more construction parts. It's like, why are they not building this? But we're actually pretty low on construction parts. So I'll just speed up here until, well, actually, let me lay down the next part of this. So we need a kiln, which takes limestone, coal, and water and produces concrete blocks. So we will set that up somewhat close by. Yeah, right here is fine. And our only way of getting water right now is with these rainwater harvesters. So I'll set these up just right here. Put a pipe in between them. And the trucks can get around them no problem, so not too worried about that right now. And then we need a unit storage on the back side of that. So then they'll pipe in, or not pipe in, but because we don't have the U channels yet to pipe in the loose materials. So unit storage takes conveyor belts, loose storage takes the U-shaped conveyor belts, which we don't have yet, so we'll have to wait on that. I don't want to build the shipyard. However, I will go in here and say repair, although I'll wait on that because we're waiting to build things. I don't want to use my construction components for that yet. Build a kiln and connect it to a rainwater harvester. So it just says use 1, but if you notice here, this requires 6 per minute. Each rainwater harvester produces about, it's saying about 4.7 right now, but I have seen that fluctuate all the way down to 3, and possibly even below, depending on the rain. So I normally just build 2, so that way we can make sure it's getting enough water. Actually, one more thing I'll do here. I'll build in a little bit of a rainwater buffer. Another quick shortcut that I just did there. If you're hovering over a pipe or a conveyor belt, you don't want to be bothered to, click through all the menus down here. If you're just hovering over it, same thing with the buildings. You can just hit C, and it'll give you that item. So it's kind of like a picket tool, if you will. So we'll just do that, and this will just keep like a little. And actually, we could just delete that. That looks weird. So let me redo that. That's not what I wanted to copy. I wanted to copy the pipe. There we go. So we'll do that. That'll give us a little bit of a buffer. So I'll say they can't import into this. This is just for the buffer. And same thing with the export. I don't want them taking water out of this, because this is not a really consistent source of water. I mean, to be fair, it's consistent enough to where you could, generally speaking, you can use these for things that don't need a whole bunch of water, that just need kind of like a trickle, which is, I would consider this a trickle. Eventually we'll get to the point where we can tap into this water well over here, and we can produce like 24 or 48 water a minute using a water pump. So these are considered trickle water. All right, so the ore sorting plant's set up. Our excavator is ready. As you can see here, it says 1 available, so we'll go ahead and assign that. Assign 2 trucks. It pulls the most recent trucks. Oh, before I forget, let me set the mining designation. Just to kind of go into the mountain there a little bit. Alrighty, so we got that set up, and he's starting to dig through the dirt to get over there. I will set this guy to prioritize limestone. He'll still be digging dirt until he gets to over here, but we're not super hurting on concrete bricks quite yet. But that'll get done. So we'll just kind of speed along here and wait for that to get done. Alrighty, so our concrete production's done. Click that reward. And now, since all of that's built, and we're not waiting on construction parts anymore, using them mainly for that, so we've got about 46. I'll go ahead and start repairing the shipyard. We won't quite have enough construction parts, but we'll get there. Alright. So now it wants me to research synthetic rubber, so I'll go ahead and queue that up. And then we'll We'll go ahead and go down to queuing up terrain leveling and blueprints, as well as ramps. So the next thing it's going to want us to do is get into construction parts 2. So, all right, where is copper on this map? Way the heck down there. That's not too terribly far away. And actually, I want to start. Let's remove this dumping designation down here. And I actually want to start building up a ramp. Let's do a 5-wide ramp. Should work. That work? Not quite. Really need to bring that back. One more to here. This is not really a flat surface, so let's just do this then. So the trick here, the dark spots are spots that it can't dump because it's full. The light spots it can dump at. So all of these are available to be dumped at. Once you start getting out a little bit more, they turn this kind of like yellowish lime color. And you can see in the tooltip, can't start dumping here yet. So those aren't ready to be dumped at yet. What I normally do if I'm trying to build a ramp, I'll build out until you start getting those yellows. And then, oh, too much. And then that's where I'll start putting the ramp down. Just like that. And that way it'll line up with the terrain pretty well. So let's build a ramp there to get up on this plateau. And then we'll build a ramp probably right here as well. 4, 5. So we can actually put the ramp down pretty quick here. Is this at level 4? Yeah. It's not quite far enough. So we'll do another level out like that before we... Now we can put the ramp down. That way it won't be in the terrain much. Yeah, I'm doing 5. So that way it gives me plenty of room to have some train tracks come down and stuff later on, so but I want to go ahead and start building that up. Honestly, I care more about building those ramps to get us to those areas than filling in this land right now, so. Alright. And with that being said, let's build our copper mine. Way the heck over here. Ready. Build that right there. That'll be fun. And we need... I will set this to copper. It's weird. It's just because it's right next to the edge of the screen. Yeah, looks like it. Dirt and rock. Okay, so I think that'll be good to go. We do need to build another Excavator, 2 more trucks. We will build the blast furnace that takes in about 30 copper. We'll do the scrap too. We don't have any scrap right now, but if we do, I want that to be used up first. Again, we've got a good amount of copper, but that'll go pretty quick. So make sure I select all here to see all, or you can select individual, like these are the machines for iron, these are the machines for copper, so on and so forth. So we need to make the impure copper first. This produces 24. So we need 2 of these, just like we did for our iron over there. So 2 metal casters. One there, one there. We'll do a smokestack here. That should cover all of that. We did complete the synthetic rubber. That's good. We'll take care of that in a minute. Alright, so this needs 24 impure iron plus a little trickle of water there. Each one of these produces 12, so we really only need 1 of these. I'll just throw it right there. Then we need water, so we need some rainwater right here on a hill too. I will put it over here because unfortunately we got some trees in the way. Can I use the remove debris to remove trees? Nope. I have to use my my tree harvester. Which actually, speaking of which, where is he? I do want more room here though too. Because eventually I'm gonna put some more farms here, so yeah. I'll just put these kind of over here. Give us a little bit more room. Not that I think our trucks are coming through here very often, but you want to preemptively, preemptively raise that up to give them space to get through. There we go. Oh, that's not going to work. Nope. One more. Alrighty, so that's done. So 12 into 24. We got a trickle of water coming in, and I'll do the same thing that I did here. Or that I did over with the concrete slabs here, just to give us a buffer. And then we can delete that center one. Yep. Then don't import, don't export. Allow water. Alright, so that'll be created. Go ahead and get set up our mining designation into the cliff face. Do need to adjust this area like I did before. Right, and then we'll assign the excavator and 2 trucks. Then they'll dump their stuff there. That'll get fed into the blast furnace. and eventually into copper. There's a tree right in the way. Of course there is. Can we get you to come over there and remove that tree real quick? That'd be great. Are we not? We're low on coal. That's what it is. I don't think we're producing wood. Quick enough, although I didn't have that set for wood either. There we go. It's cutting down that tree for us. Well, I might as well go ahead and get another tree harvester going. A couple more trucks. So we got the copper piece for our electronics. Now we just need the rubber piece. We're producing everything else, at least. And the rubber. Yep. So it wants me to send the. Actually, let's send the ship out first. We got the crew. We got. We'll set that. All right, we're filled up. We're fueled up. Let's go explore this one. And there goes our ship. Which way is it going? That way. Okay. So it's going out to explore. Tree harvester. Yep, 2 trucks. Yep, so we're taking care of that. Rubber maker. It's right here in the crude oil refining. We're gonna put this here for now. Feed the diesel into there, and then have this come out and just pipe into that line there. Perfect. We don't want to use the sulfur, we want to use the coal for right now. You can see the sulfur would be a little bit more, or a little bit better, because A, it doesn't produce wastewater and produces more rubber. But we don't have sulfur yet. Yeah, because that's something we produce. That's not even something that's on the map. Alright, so we explored that spot. I'm going to pause real quick because it's not completely out of fuel yet. So we can explore... Oh, no. We can explore another location while we've got the fuel to do so. So that's building. Copper ore over here. All the way over here is building. This says it's not connected. Did I not? Oh, right. Because it is... This needs to be flat. That's why. There we go. That's better. Alright, so we got train leveling. Which that's kind of what I was talking about earlier with the leveling designation. You can have it where in a mine control tower you can have some dumping sites end up in a mine control tower depending on how you set that. So it's important to keep an eye on this, especially if you don't want waste in your mines. Okay, location explored. Oh, I found some loot. Hooray! So ship's coming back with all this loot. And hence the reason why we kept that recipe. There it is. Can't unload it right now because the shipyard's full. Which did I? Yes, I did. Right over here. Eventually, it'll get emptied out as we have more spots to store things. So we're actually going to build 2 of these. All right, while we're waiting for that to be built, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here. And then we'll come back once everything's built and we're kind of stabilized on a little bit more on construction parts, so we can work into the next goals that pop up. All right, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.